Today we're reflecting on one of Jesus' most well-known and impactful miracles, the feeding of the 5,000, as narrated in Matthew 14. This story is a powerful testimony of Jesus' compassion and his provision for those who trust in him. The story begins after Jesus received the news of John the Baptist's death. He withdrew to a solitary place seeking to be alone, but when he arrived he saw a large crowd that had followed him. Moved by compassion, Jesus began healing the sick and teaching about the kingdom of God. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place and it's already late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." But Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." The disciples were bewildered and said, "We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." Jesus said, "Bring them here to me." He directed the crowd to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and gave thanks. Then he broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples, who distributed them to the crowd. And the miracle happened. Everyone ate and was satisfied. Not only that, but there were 12 baskets of leftovers. The Bible tells us that about 5,000 men were fed, not including the women and children. This miracle teaches us profound lessons that we can apply in our lives. 1. Jesus sees our needs and has compassion for us. Even in his grief over John the Baptist's death, he cared for the crowd that sought him. 2. When we place the little we have in God's hands, he turns it into something great. No matter how small our offering, God can multiply it to bless many. 3. God's provision is abundant. Not only was everyone fed, but there were leftovers, showing God's generosity and his goodness. Just as Jesus performed this miracle to physically feed the crowd, he also wants to feed our souls with his word and his love. He invites us to trust him, even when our resources seem insufficient. If this story touched your heart, remember that God can multiply whatever you place in his hands. Trust in his provision, and share his blessings with others. Share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more biblical reflections. God bless you and see you next time.